welcome back to today's video. A few months back I posted a healthy breakfast ideas video. You guys loved that and wanted to see more recipe videos. So instead of doing a bunch of little ones, I decided to make a massive compilation of all of my favorite healthy recipes. All the recipes and foods I mentioned in this video will be in the description. So if you have any questions, make sure you check out the description. And if the recipe is from a blog, I will have the blog linked. So before we get started, can we see if this video can get to 500 likes? I would love the positive feedback and it would help more people see the video, which would also be great. Also, before we get started, I made a vlog channel and will be uploading my first video on there very shortly if it's not already up. So make sure you subscribe. I will have the link in the description, or you can click the button right here. And make sure you guys are also following me on Twitter and Instagram. This video is also a collab with my beautiful friend Emma here on YouTube. Her videos are so good and her editing is flawless. I would highly recommend you guys check her out. After you watch this video, make sure you watch her part to this collab. Without further ado, let's just get on into it. So I'm going to be telling you about 3 of my favorite breakfast recipes. These are literally the only things I eat for breakfast anymore. My favorite thing to eat for breakfast is just a basic stovetop oatmeal. I've eaten this every single day for probably the past 6 months, so I've pretty much nailed down the recipe. So my favorite recipe is I will just put 3/4 a cup of oats and 1.5 cups of unsweetened almond milk in a little pot, and I will just let that simmer over low heat for 10 to 15 minutes until it gets thick. And then I will add 1 mashed banana, a teaspoon of cinnamon. When you're picking your banana to put in your oatmeal, make sure it is as brown and spotty as possible. It will be easier to mash and it will also be a lot sweeter and give the oatmeal much better flavor. If you guys have not cooked your oats in milk before, I would highly recommend you try it out. It's harder to cook your oats in milk than in water just because it will boil over and you just need to keep a closer eye on it. So just be aware of that if you're going to cook your oats in milk for the first time. But definitely try cooking your oats in milk versus water. It makes the world of a difference in the taste and creaminess. So that's my basic oatmeal recipe, and I'll just eat it plain. Or I love to add peanut butter, chopped strawberries, banana, frozen blueberries, literally whatever we have on hand. I have that for breakfast almost every single day. Another one of my favorite things to make for breakfast is baked oatmeal. Can you sense an oats trend yet? This is so easy. In a little ramekin, in a little bowl, just combine 1/2 cup of oats, 1 mashed banana, a teaspoon of baking powder, cinnamon if you want it, and 1/2 cup of almond milk. Just stir it up and pop it in the oven for 25 and then pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. When I take it out, I love to add some strawberries and peanut butter. That's just my all-time favorite combination to put on this baked oatmeal, and it is so good. Others are just like banana and milk, whatever you want. The other thing I love to have for breakfast is granola. All-time favorite granola recipe is peanut butter granola. Oh, this is so good, guys. It's really crispy. To make this, just preheat your oven to 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Line a baking tray with parchment paper and then just set that aside. And then in a large bowl, you want to combine 1/2 cup of peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and just mix that all up. And then you want to stir in 3 cups of rolled oats and 1/3 cup of shredded coconut. I normally like double the amount of shredded coconut because I think it tastes really good in this recipe. And then just spread that out on the baking tray and pop that in the oven for 15 to 17 minutes. And then you want to stir it at around the 8-minute mark or halfway. When you take it out, it should be golden and crispy and so good. When you're cooling your granola, if you want it to be more crispy, take it out of the pan to cool. And then also what I like to do is melt some coconut oil and drizzle it over top of the granola. That makes really crunchy granola clusters, which I love. But if you want this to be oil-free as well as refined sugar-free, then you don't have to do that. So just let your granola fully cool and then store it in an airtight container for as long as it lasts, which won't be long because it's so good. So those are kind of my 3 favorite things to eat for breakfast. Let's move on to lunch. So I have 4 things to tell you about at lunch. The first thing that I love to make for lunch is lettuce wraps. Basically, you just take a lettuce boat, so just a big piece of lettuce that you can put things in, and you just fill it with whatever you want. I like to take a grain, so either brown rice or quinoa, some sort of protein, so chopped smoked tofu is really good, or my family and I like to take a veggie beef and heat that up with hoisin sauce, which is very, very good. Also just some veggies, so like shredded carrot, bell pepper, avocado is so good, and sautéed sauteed mushrooms and onion is very, very good. And then just topped with some vegan cheese or nutritional yeast. These are very good. They're a bit messy to eat, but they're super fast to put together. Yeah, so those are really good, and I like making them for lunch or dinner. The lunch and dinner recipes are pretty interchangeable. Another thing I love to eat for lunch or dinner, again, is just a massive sandwich. Basically, I just take the bread, of course, and put either a bunch of mashed avocado or hummus on, just whatever I'm in the mood for. So my favorite kind of sandwich combination is avocado and tomato, but honestly, most of the time, I just kind of pile on all the veggies we have. And then the next thing that I like to make for lunch or dinner is sushi. Homemade sushi is actually a lot easier than you'd think it would be. I like to use brown rice or quinoa, and then my choice of fillings, so I like avocado, carrots, red pepper, cucumber, yam, really whatever you want. I will link down below the recipe I use for quinoa sushi, and it also explains like how to make sushi, which is would kind of be tedious to explain. So definitely just check out the description for how I make my quinoa sushi or brown rice sushi, whichever. The last thing, and probably my most recently favorite thing, is a quinoa watermelon salad, and that may sound not very good because you think of watermelon as being sweet and quinoa as being more savory. The flavors actually complement each other very, very well in addition to the dressing. Everyone that has eaten this recipe with me like absolutely loves it. I definitely say give it a go, even if it sounds a bit weird. For the salad, you want to take 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa and 1.5 cup of chopped watermelon, or basically just equal parts watermelon and quinoa depending on how much salad you want to make. 3 to 4 tablespoons of chopped parsley and lemon zest to your taste, and then mix that all up as the salad base. And then for the dressing, you want to combine 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1/3 cup of finely chopped sweet onion, such as Vidalia. I butchered that, and 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and then salt and pepper to taste again. Just mix that all up and pour that over the quinoa watermelon mix, and there's your salad. It's so good. And if you're not vegan, the recipe also calls for a 3/4 cup of crumbled feta cheese. I didn't put it in, but so it's fine without it, but if you would like to, you can add that also. I found that this recipe makes more dressing than you need for the amount of kind of salad you have, so you can definitely save it and eat it over salad or pasta or whatever you want, or just make more salad because it's so good. So those are the main things that I've been eating for lunch and absolutely loving. Let's move on to snacks. My first favorite snack that I make a lot is toast with different toppings. So I just toast my bread, to get toast, and then I just put on, my favorite combinations are either peanut butter with banana and cinnamon, or smashed avocado with tomato and nutritional yeast. Those are so I have those a lot of the time. Another thing I like to have for snacks are smoothies. I just basically throw whatever we have into a smoothie. I don't follow a recipe. I just kind of go to town with them. The only veggies I ever really throw in would be kale, spinach, or carrots. One thing I found that's really good is just stirring through a tablespoon or 2 of carob powder to your smoothie, once it's been blended, and then just drinking that, and then you'll just get these chunks of carob in your smoothie, and it's so good. And sometimes I'll make them a lot thicker, and I'll put them into a bowl and just have a smoothie bowl, eat it with a spoon, and add a bunch of toppings like granola, seeds, fruit, whatever you want. And another snack I really like to have, sorry, there's a lot of snacks, is an ice cream or banana ice cream. Basically, you just blend frozen bananas with a little bit of water, and it will turn into a super creamy, soft serve ice cream texture and consistency. It tastes so good. Just make sure your bananas are super ripe when you freeze them, super spotty. That will make a huge impact on the flavor. And then just add toppings. Granola is my favorite. I like granola, can you guys tell? And you can add other fruits or seeds, whatever you want. It's so good. It literally just tastes like frozen yogurt or ice cream. I also like blending it with some frozen mango or blending it with some frozen strawberries to get strawberry ice cream or mango sorbet or something. I also like eating bars or granola bars for snacks. So my favorite bars are Lara bars. I just think they're so good. They have 4 ingredients. They're super simple, no sugar added. They're vegan, kosher, gluten-free, dairy-free. They're everything you could want in a bar, and they're super filling. So I'd recommend trying Lara bars if you haven't. So lastly, moving on to dinner. So one of my favorite dinners is spaghetti and meatballs. So we just cook some whole wheat spaghetti, pot boiling water, that whole drill. And then we just add some sauteed veggies, so broccoli and mushrooms, veggie meatballs, and then just add some store-bought tomato sauce. Make sure it's just all nice ingredients, the usual drill. And it's so good and so simple and just delicious. Another one of my favorite sauces is pesto. So my favorite pesto recipe is super easy and so delicious. delicious. In a dry skillet over medium to high heat, you want to toast half a cup of pine nuts. So just stir them around until they're golden brown and then set them aside. And then in a food processor, process 2 bunches of cilantro and 4 cloves of garlic. And then once that's all processed, add in your toasted pine nuts, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. You can add some smoked paprika, it's optional, I always do. And then just process that until it's smooth, and if it's too dry, you can just add in some olive oil or water until it gets a nice consistency. So that's my favorite pesto recipe. I love putting it over pasta. I also put it over some zucchini noodles a lot of the time, where you spiralize a zucchini and you'll get some noodles that are made out of zucchini. And I really like eating the pesto over that, and then also like with some nutritional yeast or something. If you guys don't know what nutritional yeast is, it's a great B12 source for vegans. It has a very cheesy flavor, so that's why I really like it. So I think one of my all-time favorite foods recently has been veggie burgers. I think they're so good. A lot of times our dinners, we'll just cook up some veggie burgers that we bought from the store. I'll just put that on a toasted bun with avocado and tomato, spinach, sprouts, kind of whatever we have, and it's so good. So that's definitely one of my favorite dinners or lunches. Another thing that my family and I eat for dinner a lot is spring rolls. So for these, the only kind of weird thing you need is rice paper wraps, which a lot of people might not have in their house, but you can find them kind of in the specialty foods aisle at the grocery store, I think, or any Asian grocery store would definitely have them. But basically you just soak your rice wrap, there's an ant on my toe. You just soak your rice wrap in some lukewarm water for maybe like 10 seconds till it's soft, and then you just fill it with whatever you want. So I like to fill mine with rice noodles, cilantro, avocado, red pepper, carrots, cucumber, smoked tofu, bean sprouts or shoots. Really, it's so customizable to what you like. And then like they're good just like that, but it's really just veggies in a wrap. The part that makes spring rolls really good is the dipping sauce. We have a really good recipe for a peanut dipping sauce, which is delicious. I will have the recipe for the peanut sauce in the description. Another thing that I eat for dinner a lot is a chickpea omelet. This is basically like a vegan version of a traditional egg omelet. Don't be fooled though, it's a lot harder to make than regular omelets. So to make this omelet, in a bowl just mix 2/3 a cup of water, 1/3 a cup of chickpea flour, 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, 1/8 a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and salt and pepper to taste. Mix that all up and then pour that over a greased skillet, which is at like medium to high heat, and just let that cook like you would a normal omelet until around the edges is starting to look a bit firm and there are some bubbles. And then you just want to flip that over and add in any fillings that you prepared. You're good to go. For my fillings in my omelet, I just will saute up a bunch of vegetables and add in some avocado, and it's very good. And then over the top I just put some nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavor, and it's delicious. A little disclaimer before you start this recipe: omelets are very hard to flip. I can't tell you how many times I've just ended up with a chickpea scramble because I couldn't flip it properly. So don't get discouraged if you can't flip this. While I was actually filming the clips for this, I totally screwed up flipping mine, and I've made this recipe so many times. So don't get frustrated. It will taste so good. It still has amazing flavor, even if it doesn't look like a traditional omelet. Just putting that out there before you guys try this. So that was my massive compilation of all of my favorite recipes. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys!